This is Politics Unplugged. Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Pena. We want to welcome tonight the Republican candidates campaigning to become Attorney General, incumbent Tom Horne and his challenger, Mark Brnovich.
Well, I've been working very hard for 4 years fighting federal overreach, fighting Obama. I personally argued 2 cases to the United States Supreme Court last year, won them both. Important cases fighting federal overreach. One of them establishing Arizona's right to be sure that people have evidence of citizenship if they're going to register to vote, which the Ninth Circuit said we couldn't do, getting good language out of the U.S. Supreme Court. A second case stopping federal courts from unduly interfering in state courts enforcing our criminal laws. I defeated the Obama administration National Labor Relations Board on the issue of card check, which was an important victory. I've been fighting the Environmental Protection Agency to stop them from making our utilities spend $500 million for no benefit, a visibility standard where you can't really see the difference. I've been arguing cases in Arizona Superior Court, Arizona Supreme Court, Federal District Court, the Ninth Circuit, and the United States Supreme Court personally. I brought $2 billion into Arizona by fighting the 5 largest banks on mortgage fraud, which helps keep people in their homes and is also a great boost to the Arizona economy. To bring $2 billion into the Arizona economy.
You know, and unfortunately, there's been some things that Tom has done that you can tip your hat to.
Well, you know, the left-wing press has been attacking me. I won back the Attorney General's office for the Republicans for the first time in 12 years in 2010, and for the first time in many years, Republicans had all the statewide offices. The liberal press couldn't stand that, and they had headline after headline accusing me of coordinating with an independent campaign. When it got before an independent judge, she found that it was a false charge. So I think what's important to the voters is what I've done to protect Arizona against federal overreach. One thing I didn't get to mention was 3 years ago I was a co-founder and I'm still the co-chair of a task force to fight child sex trafficking, which is a much more serious problem than people realize. We drafted legislation which was ultimately passed, stricter penalties for pimps pimping underage kids, and we're educating the public on the importance of that issue. I'm the first Attorney General ever to do anything about Colorado City, where they have these harems of young girls with an older guy, and they kick the young boys out of town. When the girls try to escape, the local police would catch them and bring them back. I found $400,000 a year to give to the Mojave County Sheriff, so there could be a sheriff up there to enforce the law objectively, and for the first time people have been able to escape, and they say they couldn't have escaped but for what I did there. So I've been the first Attorney General to do something about that problem. Montgomery, who is Brnovich's political mentor, did tell the world that I had violated the law, willfully violated campaign finance law, but it went in front of a neutral judge, and she said that was false, and that it was a false charge. And I think that says something about the dirty politics that have been going on. I've been endorsed by Joe Arpaio because of my work to fight illegal immigration and to help protect the border. I've been endorsed by 11 Republican legislators, including Judy Burgess, who is identified as the most conservative legislator. I've been endorsed by a number of law enforcement. So the endorsements go both ways. But I'll tell you this. In Arizona, we've had a small group of self-selected people who consider themselves the establishment, and they want to choose the candidates, and they want to choose the office holders. But it doesn't work that way. The voters choose them. In 2002, when I ran against Jaime Molera, the whole Republican establishment supported him, and they took turns doing radio ads in an independent campaign for him against me. And when the election came, he carried 1 county out of 15. That was Santa Cruz County, where he grew up. So when the establishment is against me, it means I'm doing well.
Well, are you considering Governor Brewer the establishment? I mean, do you feel like it's a slap in the face not getting her endorsement?
No, I'm proud to have Joe Arpaio's endorsement, and I do think there's a small group of people who consider themselves the establishment, who think they can choose the candidates, and they can choose the office holders, but the voters make those choices. And my own history shows that when the establishment is against you, a lot of times you do well with the grassroots. Actually, the role of the Attorney General's office with respect to CPS is to represent CPS when they take kids out of the homes. We have 72 hours to get to court, or the kids have to be brought back to the homes. And my philosophy is if a kid is in danger, they should be taken out of the home. So in my 4 years in office, we've increased the number of kids under court protection from 11,000 to 16,000. I have not been missing in action. I've been very active. But the problem with Mark running for this office is he doesn't really understand the way the office works or what his role is. This is another example, I think, of Mark not understanding the role of the office. Let me just say I've been elected by Republicans, conservative Republicans to office for 18 years now. And if Mark wants to talk about being liberal Democrats, maybe he'd like to explain why he made a contribution to Pete Rios, who is the leading left-wing advocate of open borders as recently as 2006.
Mr. Brnovich?
You know, I have a broad coalition that's supporting my campaign, and once again, I'm very proud that someone like Governor Brewer, who's done more to fight illegal immigration in this state, that has been on the front lines of that issue, is endorsed and supporting me. She's taken the unprecedented step, as other elected officials have, to support my campaign.